Hello and welcome to Arabella's Reading Corner. I'm Arabella and today we'll be reading Meet the Dullards, Extra Boring Edition. One day, Mr. and Mrs. Dullard received quite a nasty surprise. So that's Mr. and Mrs. Dullard. And they are surprised at their children reading books. Why? The Dullards collected the books and handed their children some nice blank paper to read instead. Then they left the room to discuss the problem in private. This was not the first time their children had given them a shock. Last week, they had asked to go to school, and just the day before, Mr. Dullard had caught them trying to play outside. This is a very dull family. Miss Dullard shook her head sadly. Where did we go wrong? Now, Mr. Dullard comforted his wife. It can't be our fault. We're perfectly dull. Perhaps it's this place, he said. Last fall, remember, some leaves turned color. And now this. He pointed to an upsetting commotion in the driveway. There's never a dull moment. You may be right. It's like a circus around here, Miss Dullard agreed. This is no place to raise Blanda, Borley, and Little Dud. And that's the commotion in the driveway, a snail. I don't think this place looks like a circus, do you? So the Dullards packed their 3 dull children and all their dull things and moved. Just as they brought the last box into their new home, a lady came to the door. Welcome to the neighborhood, she said. I baked you an applesauce cake. Please don't use exclamation marks in front of our children, said Miss Dullard. Smooth or chunky applesauce? Asked Mr. Dullard. Chunks are so unpredictable, so nerve-wracking. I'm sorry, said the neighbor lady. It was chunky. Goodbye, said the Dullards, shutting the door. Well, I never, they heard the neighbor lady muttering as she carried her cake away. Well, we never either, said Mr. Dullard. That's how we keep our family so dull. You children need to calm down after all that excitement, said Miss Dullard. Go watch the television. Mr. and Miss Dullard finished unpacking all their dull things. Ah, this place feels more boring already, said Mr. Dullard. But then... So the children are watching the television, but the television isn't playing. They're just staring at it. And then they get bored of watching it, and they're just looking out the window. And they open the door to find... And then Miss Dullard faints. Uh-oh, what are the children up to? Ooh, you know what? It wasn't the children. It was the wallpaper. Too bright for them, I guess. On the way to the paint store, the Dullards spotted an ice cream stand. Mr. Dullard ordered their usual. 5 vanilla cones, please. Hold the cones and extract the vanilla. But all that would be left is plain ice cream, the clerk said. Yes, that's correct, said Mr. Dullard. Wow, they won't even get flavors of ice cream. They don't even get a cone. They just hold it in their hands. Wow. At the paint store, Mr. Dullard suggested a medium gray. Too risky, Miss Dullard decided. Gray is the color of highways, and highways could make the children think about going somewhere. How about beige? Out of the question, said her husband. Beige reminds me of clay. The children might think of that and, he put his hand to his heart, want to make something. In the end, they told the clerk to mix the gray paint and the beige paint together, and the new color was indeed perfectly dull, like oatmeal left in the pot. While their parents are discussing the paint, the children are being mischievous in the background. I don't think the children like their dull life, but the parents do. After they finished painting the room, Mr. and Miss Dullard tried not to look at the walls. But it was no use. They were completely mesmerized. All day long, the Dullards watched the paint dry. Oh my. Would you want to watch paint dry? I don't think I would, at least not for the whole day. Now the children are climbing out the window. What are they going to get up to? Finally, Mr. Dullard tore his gaze away. I think, he began. Miss Dullard shook her head. No thinking, reminded her husband. It sets a bad example for the children. They don't even like to think either. And speaking of the children, where are they? They notice that their children are missing. And they look out the window. What do they see out the window? So she's juggling some balls. Little Dud is, well, tightrope cartwheeling instead of walking. And then this guy is teaching a dog to stand on a ball on only one foot. I can't imagine what came over them, Mr. Dullard said as he herded the children safely back inside. Perhaps it's this new home. It's terribly exciting. You may be right. It's like a circus around here, Miss Dullard agreed. This is no place to raise Blanda, Borley, and Little Dud. So the Dullards packed up their 3 dull children and all their dull things. And moved back. So the parents are looking straight ahead, but the children see that there's a circus coming to their town. That night, Mr. and Miss Dullard fell asleep right away, secure in the knowledge that their children were perfect bores. I don't think their children are boring. They're sneaking off to the circus. So it really is a circus around there. I hope you enjoyed this book.